I went to the grocery store today and guess how much it cost for 2 tiny little measly bags of groceries? If you said 50 bucks, you'd be right. I didn't even get anything exciting. It feels like I can't get in and out of the grocery store for any less than that these days, and it's just getting out of control. This week, I'm helping tackle that challenge. I'm creating 3 easy, affordable, delicious, and one-pot meals that won't beat your budget. I hope you'll stick with me. Hey there, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm really happy to have you here. Today, One Pot Budget Week continues, and this is a vegetarian meal. You could actually pretty easily make it vegan. We're having vegetarian Swedish meatballs and pasta. Let's get going. First, quick overview of the ingredients. Several tablespoons of garlic, chopped. 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs, I'm using panko. As much parsley as you have in the house. This is about 1/2 cup. I'd like twice this much if I had it. 1 medium yellow onion, diced very small. I've used 8 ounces of cremini mushrooms, diced very small. 1 can of cannellini beans, rinsed and partially mashed with a fork. 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos. You can use soy sauce if you prefer. 2 tablespoons of vegan version of Worcestershire sauce. A little bit of sage, a little bit of rosemary, salt and pepper, 1/4 cup of flour, 3 cups of vegetarian broth, 1 can of coconut milk, full fat, 1 pound of pasta of your choice. I've got 1 pound of bow tie pasta here. And then 1 ingredient that you may not have in your cabinet that's totally optional is this liquid smoke. Just has a really nice smoky flavor, and we're only gonna use the tiniest bit of this. So the method to this recipe is quite simple. We're gonna combine all of our meatball ingredients and form our balls. We're gonna fry them in a couple tablespoons of oil, pull them out of the pan, create an easy pan sauce gravy, cook our pasta in it, nestle the meatballs back in, and voila, we're all done. So first, we're gonna pull together the meatball ingredients. First thing, cannellini beans go in a large mixing bowl. Again, this is about 15 ounces of cannellini beans that I have partially mashed. Add to that 8 ounces of very finely chopped mushrooms, our very finely chopped yellow onion, our garlic, about 1/2 or a tablespoon of our Worcestershire sauce. The rest of that is gonna go into our gravy. 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos. Our sage and rosemary. These are actually leaves of sage and rosemary that I picked last year and dried, so they require a little bit of smooshing. So I'm gonna take about a shy tablespoon there. Immediately I can smell that sage, it smells delicious. And a little bit of rosemary. If you don't like these flavors, it's totally fine. You can pick whichever herbs you do like, or you can completely omit this. That's enough for me. Parsley, breadcrumbs, 1.5 cups or so, and salt and pepper. Good tablespoon of salt or so. That's it, now we mix. I could have used a bigger bowl. That might be the title of my memoir. So I have taken this about as far as I can take it with a spatula. So I'm gonna get in with the kitchen's best tools, which are my hands. The goal is just to bring this together and form it into balls. About ping pong ball size. Is that also the size of a golf ball? Okay, so about that big. So all you do is grab a little bit of the filling, compact it between your hands, and put it on our plate. You want to try to make these similar size if you can, so that they cook relatively evenly once we get them in the oil. And there we go, 12 meatballs. Okay, the next step is to cook our meatballs. So in a large, heavy-bottomed pot, over about a medium-high heat, I'm gonna drop about 3 tablespoons of a neutral flavored oil. I wouldn't recommend using butter here, though it would be delicious. Butter on its own has a tendency to burn when it gets too hot. So we're gonna stick with a neutral flavored oil. That was avocado oil. So you wanna heat that oil until you see it start to ripple a little bit. You don't wanna heat it until it's smoking, just until it's warm. Okay, I can see a little bit of a ripple in that oil. So I'm going to drop our meatballs. I'm gonna do this by hand. Be careful if you do it by hand so that you don't get oil splattered. So in go our meatballs. You want a large enough pan that you're not crowding these. They will stick together, but they're somewhat delicate. So you wanna make sure you've got enough room to flip them around when we get to that point. Okay, and those will cook for a couple minutes on that side. We're just going for something that's golden brown. These meatballs are basically cooked. There's nothing in them that we have to worry about being raw. So we're going for a little bit of crisp on the outside and to heat them through. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and flip these guys. Nice and dark brown on the bottom. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. So now we're over just about a medium heat. You'll see how dark that first side got. Beautiful. I lost a ball. I'm simply gonna scoop this one out so that it doesn't get any more dark on the bottom. All right, we had 2 casualties. Not a big deal. We'll mix that into the pasta for additional flavor. Okay, those have gone about as far as I want them to go. So very gently, I'm gonna use a spoon and pull them. And our meatballs are done. All right, now for the sauce. Before this gets any darker, we're gonna add a little bit more oil, turn it way down, and add our flour. We're just trying to cook the raw out of this flour. If need be, you can go ahead and add a little bit of your stock as well. The flour is gonna act as a thickener. We're not making a traditional roux, but we are trying to cook some of that raw taste out of the flour. Okay. Perfect. So now I'm gonna add the rest of our stock, which is 3 cups, and our coconut milk. This is full fat coconut milk. Next, we're gonna add the remaining 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire that we've reserved. So that goes right in. And while that coconut milk is melting down into the vegetable stock, we're incorporating that flour, I'm gonna go ahead and add just the tiniest bit of liquid smoke. This is very smoky. It just makes you feel like something has just come off of the barbecue. It imparts kind of a meaty flavor into a vegetarian dish or really any dish. So liquid smoke, just the tiniest little bit. I'm gonna measure in the cap. We're looking for like a half of a teaspoon here. Plenty. Now we stir. And it's almost time to drop our pasta, but first I'm gonna take a taste for seasoning. It's going to be screaming hot since it's actually boiling. Really good. Need some salt and pepper. So I'm gonna do like a full tablespoon of salt, because keep in mind we didn't put any salt in this, and then several grinds of pepper. And then the next step is just to simply drop our pasta. So my pasta is gonna take about 9 minutes to cook. Follow the instructions on the back of your pasta container and you can use whichever type that you like. I'm using bow tie, they're kind of fun little shapes, but you can use whatever you'd like. So in goes our pasta. Give that a stir. And let her rip. And our pasta is officially done. It looks amazing. The only thing left to do is I'm going to sprinkle that over the top. And as you'll recall, a couple of our meatballs fell apart. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this over the top as well. Some of the little bits are crunchy, crispy. A little bit of pasta. A couple of our meatballs. Another shower of fresh herbs. And our vegetarian one-pot affordable Swedish meatballs are complete. Time for a taste test. Such a depth of flavor on this one. I think the liquid smoke, if you can afford it, is really well worth adding to this recipe. The outside of the meatball stayed crispy. The inside is kind of meaty in texture thanks to the mushrooms. I'm a Montana girl through and through, and I love my protein in the form of meat, but this, really delicious. The meat eaters in your life might not even miss the meat in this one. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, please give it a like. If you'd like to see more from me, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.